Nothing is more liberating than a blank piece of paper.
Nichts ist inspirierender als ein weißes Blatt Papier.
The history of the Sportback began with a blank piece of paper. There were only these two lines at the beginning. The long roof and the boat tail-shaped sill. In other words, it's a movement from the front to the back which meets in the rear. The next important line is the shoulder line, which in this case sinks really far back. The shoulder line begins at the front, takes its power from the engine, and then sinks slightly to the rear. This shoulder line merges beautifully into this boat tail, thus creating a powerful unity. What characterizes an Audi is the flare in the side. When we look here, we can see that it's comprised of 1/3 glass and 2/3 metal. If the sun shines from here, then it shines on the metal. That's why this here is something we call a highlight, because the metal's brighter. And here, where it reflects the ground, the metal is darker. You can see it really well on this drawing. We have the same situation here. This white arc up here is the shoulder, which reflects the sunlight and is white, just like the white door sill down here. And this articulates the 2/3 area beautifully and gives it a certain dynamic. The rear of the car is very charismatic because we're playing with the tail lights. We have this long stretched back, which we can see here. That's what's so compelling about the rear, this boat's tail with the embedded tail lights. So we have this flowing line here, and the flowing line of the roof, which merge at the rear. When we started out with the single frame, we designed more vertically than horizontally.
Vertikal als horizontal gestaltet. Das ist, sagen wir mal, das Single Frame, wie mal angefangen hat.
That's how we started with the single frame. Then we developed it more horizontally. You can see it really well right here. We reduced it on top and then widened it further right and left.
Links und rechts etwas breiter gemacht und beim A7 haben wir diese.
And we incorporated these wide flat proportions into the A7. However, like with the A8, we created beveled edges.
Diese Ecken, die das Auto immer.
These corners, which always gave the car its increased height, have been decreased significantly. So the optical focal point is lowered, which gives the impression of a wider grille.
Und wir entwickeln im Prinzip dadurch einen nochmal breiter wirkenden Grill.
The second thing we did with the grille was to change the bars in the grille. We were able to create more of a dynamic and more width with chrome, and by highlighting the outer corners of the grille. It's like a rubber band. When you pull at the edges, it gets more narrow in the middle, while the width remains the same where you're holding it. We've greatly overhauled the front of the A7, including the compelling daytime running lights. It's a very distinctive part of the car, which clearly defines the front and can even be recognized from far off in the dark. The important thing for us was the cut, both in the front and the tail. We had a very clear lighting design because there's a lot of dynamic movement inside the lights, in the headlights as well as the tail lights. And this dynamic is represented throughout the entire car. This vitality is also represented by the wide tires, the strong shoulder and the sloping roof.
darstellen soll.
Nothing is more liberating than a blank piece of paper.
Nichts ist inspirierender als ein weißes Blatt Papier.